I travel a lot for work, but I rarely treat myself to anything more than a basic hotel. That changed one autumn, when I booked a secluded cabin deep in the mountains for a quiet weekend alone. The place was beautiful, surrounded by trees, with a deck overlooking miles of forest. It felt like the perfect escape. The first night was uneventful, but the next morning, something felt off. While jogging on a nearby trail, I had this constant, creeping feeling that I was being watched. I tried to shake it off, blaming it on being alone in unfamiliar woods. Throughout the day, I kept hearing faint noises inside the cabin, soft creaks, distant thuds. But I convinced myself it was just the house settling. That night, I could barely sleep. Around midnight, I went downstairs for some air. The living room was pitch black except for faint moonlight spilling in through the windows. As I stepped forward, I noticed something strange, like a shadow blocking part of the light. I turned on the light. There was a man standing in the kitchen. He looked wrong, disheveled, unshaved, staring at me like I wasn't supposed to be there. We locked eyes for what felt like forever. Then he rushed at me. I ran upstairs, locked myself in the bedroom, and called the police while hiding in the closet. He followed, slamming into the door, yelling things that made no sense, like he knew me, like I had done something to him. The door started to crack. Just as I thought it would break, I heard sirens. Police arrived seconds before he got in. They tackled him as I escaped through the window onto the roof. Later, they told me the truth. He wasn't a stranger to the house. He had been living inside it for days, hiding in one of the closets. A couple of years ago, I stayed at an Airbnb while traveling for a job interview. The place was normal, nothing special, just a quiet house in a suburban neighborhood. That night, I decided to sleep on the couch and watch a movie. Around 11:30 p.m., the doorbell rang. I froze. Who would be visiting that late? When I checked, there was a skinny guy outside holding a small brown bag. He claimed he had my pizza. I hadn't ordered anything. I told him he had the wrong address and shut the door, but he kept ringing the bell, over and over. Eventually, he left. Or so I thought. When I looked outside again, his car was still there. Engine running, lights on. I went upstairs to get a better view, but the brightness made it impossible to see inside the car. Frustrated, I went outside to confront him. The car was empty, still running. I immediately ran back inside and locked the door. A few minutes later, I saw him again, walking back to the car from the direction of the house. He hadn't left. He had been somewhere nearby, maybe even trying to get in. The next morning, I found the front door slightly open, held back only by the chain lock. Outside, sitting near the porch, was the same brown paper bag. I never checked what was inside. And the host? He stopped replying the moment I told him everything. Last summer, my family rented a house near the beach for a short vacation. It was quiet, tucked away at the end of a street with a creek running behind it. The first night went smoothly. The second morning, my 8-year-old son looked exhausted. When we asked what was wrong, he hesitated, then told us he saw ghosts outside his window. We brushed it off as imagination. That night, he woke us up again, terrified. He said the ghosts were back, and one of them had tapped on his window and told him to open the door. That part didn't sit right with me, so we all slept in the living room together. Around 2:30 a.m., my son shook me awake again. "They're here." This time I got up and looked. There were 3 figures standing at the sliding glass door. They weren't ghosts. They were men, wearing black clothing and masks with pale, unnatural faces. One of them was trying to open the door. My wife called the police while I grabbed the nearest thing I could use as a weapon. The men didn't run. They just stood there, watching us panic. One of them pulled out a knife, then suddenly, everything exploded into chaos. Police arrived and tackled one of them while the others tried to run, but didn't get far. Later, we found out the truth. They weren't random. They had been targeting tourists. My son didn't see ghosts. He saw them before we did, standing outside in the dark, watching our house.